Previously on Gears.
Now, this morning, I had the rare privilege, for those who recall, last year sometime, I was invited to go to the UK to spend a day on the set of the movie called Rush, directed by the legendary Ron Howard. Now, the reason I was asked to go was because this is a movie which has a lot of Formula One and motor racing in it. But before you sit there and think, oh my God, it's going to be a movie about cars going around in circles, etc., etc., it is and it isn't. I was on set, which was amazing, and I managed to get to chat to Ron Howard and to the director of photography when I was there. It was just amazing.
When was this?
It was just before you started, I think.
Oh,
sometime
that's
last
awesome.
year. Yeah, which is amazing. Now, this movie is based on various different books. One of them being by Tom Rubithan, which I've read numerous times. And it's basically about the lives of two exceptional, very different men. One being Niki Lauda, 3 times world champion Formula One. The other one about James Hunt, 1-time Formula One world champion. Niki Lauda, the ultra-conservative, dedicated, uber-professional, lacking of sense of humor, just straight to the point kind of person. The other, the complete playboy, James Hunt. Girls, cigarettes, drinks, walking barefoot, just...
Like you?
Yes, although I don't walk barefoot. But yes, like me. Thanks, Dyson. Yeah. And, you know, there have been, over the years, there have been movies made about Formula One. Most probably the best example is a movie called Grand Prix, which was made in the 60s. But it's very much about guys just going round and round in circles. And in those days, it was a question of managing to film cars at high speed. This is a story about determination. It's a story about loss. It's a story about friendship. It's a story about competitiveness. It's a story about love. It's a story about ambition. It's a story about problems. It's got every human element you can think of, and you can relate.
It's real.
It's completely real. And the whole thing about it is it's also a real story. It's about real people. But it's no matter if you're a girl or a guy, no matter if you like motor racing or don't like motor racing, it's a story about two people, and you can relate to each of them in their own different ways, because each of the characters, there's something about each character that you can pick out. I was at one stage when I heard about the movie a couple of years ago, I was dreadfully scared that they were going to try and make a movie about Formula One, and it was all going to be just this farcical kind of nonsense. Ron Howard has done something out of this world. If I tell you, it's exceptional. I sat and watched for 1 hour and 45 minutes this morning in the studio, in the cinema. There were only about 30 of us that were there. Majority, Daisy, being girls, amazingly. And I sat and I knew the story. I know the story so well. You know, I mean, this is what I've lived my whole life, is Formula One. So I know these characters. I know what they went through. I know where they came from. I know everything about them. And I sat for 1 hour and 45 minutes with my heart beating faster than normal, just watching this unfold in front of me into one of the most brilliantly told and shot movies I've ever seen.
That's awesome.
And I mean that sincerely. Not that it's got anything to do with Formula One. It's about people. The way that it's shot, the one thing that scared me, and I was very scared from the outset, was, are they going to use too much CGI and recreate certain things? There is maybe 1/3% of CGI in this whole movie. Everything else is real. The way that they've driven these cars. There is some incredible footage that is used in the movie from the original races, which I think Ron Howard has done an exceptional job, number one, to acquire the rights to use them, and the way that he integrated it actually into the movie. For the rest of it, it is just brilliant driving by, I assume, professional racing drivers to make sure that it gives us the right kind of story. And when I was at Brands Hatch that day, in the little bit of the rain, watching them film for this day, I mean, there was Niki Lauda's Formula One car coming past and James Hunt.
You must have been
McLaren.
in your element.
It was exceptional. I've got to tell you, the movie only releases on the 4th of October, and I'm going to be first in the queue to go and watch it. I really recommend this movie for anybody. And you might just come out with a slightly different opinion about racing drivers, for one, but then also that superstars are also just human, and they also just live normal lives like we do, even though some of them may be on aeroplanes and private Learjets, and whereas we just take the normal commercial airline.
I think we forget about that, though.
The human side.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. The human side of this is just wonderful. I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed this movie and how much I really, really recommend everyone to see it. So,
Fear of heights is acrophobia, thanks to Ernie
That's
and
what it
Gavin
is.
Bird.
acrophobia.
Clever people.
Nice one. Rush, 4th of October. Don't miss it.
Weekdays from 12 to 2 p.m. Central African Time.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Gears with Sasha Martinengo. On bulls.co.za.